Zammad 651 has been released today. It fixes security issues in Zammad and thus should be installed ASAP. Also, I will refresh your memory on breaking changes for Zammad 6.5 and the upcoming Zammad 7.0. Let's take a look. The first security problem affects searching in Zammad's knowledge base. When using granular permissions for different agents, the search function could return search results for articles the agents had no permission to. Trying to open an affected knowledge base article with an unauthorized agent would result in a permission denied error. The incorrect access control has been fixed with this release. HTML injections were possible in several parts of Zammad's frontend due to incorrect escaping of HTML content before outputting the data. Thanks to Zammad's content security policy that is sent by the application, this luckily did not allow JavaScript execution on the user's browser. From what I can tell, this affects checklists, the maintenance messages for active sessions, the login message, and tree selects. Take this information with a grain of salt, it most likely is incomplete. If you have HTML content in these areas, you may want to remove the HTML parts. Some of you might have heard about it already. Bitnami is going to change the way they provide their images. The very short summary is that they basically will provide the latest tag only. The Zammad project moved away from the Bitnami Elasticsearch image to the Elasticsearch image. This is technically not a breaking change bound to this release. It was pushed with version 14 of Zammad stock on Compose Deck on August 1st already. Still, I think it's important to mention, because otherwise the update process might backfire. After pulling the current version of the Compose repository, all you have to do is to change the ownership of the Elasticsearch data directory to the Elasticsearch user. This affects all Docker-based installations. I will also put the upstream Bitnami issue in the video description so you can get the full picture of the situation. Let me remind you of the upcoming breaking changes really quick without losing too much time. After that, I'll go into the breaking changes of Zammad 6.5 and 6.5.1 as this affects you right now. MariaDB and MySQL support will be dropped. Make sure to convert your database beforehand. The X channel, formerly known as Twitter channel, will be removed. The Slack integration will be removed as Zammad's predefined webhook configuration replaces that already. Make sure to migrate to webhooks before. WebSockets will become mandatory, as the desktop view, just like the mobile view, does not have an Ajax fallback. Last but not least, a warning that is crucial for those that run source code installations. The Zammad team will move the source code documentation into the developer documentation with Zammad 7. I guess it technically gets unsupported for production use due to this. You might want to switch to a different installation type until then. Now to the breaking changes that affect you right now. Text area attributes that you call via a variable will now reflect HTML content. This especially affects line breaks, which was discarded before. Please review your configuration to ensure that this doesn't break existing workflows. Zammad Session Jobs Concurrent has been renamed to Zammad Process Session Jobs Workers. This affects all administrators that configured performance tunings. The old environment variable will temporarily continue to work, however this may change in the future. Please update your environment accordingly, this affects all installation types of Zammad. Zammad 6.5 requires a further proxy header. These headers are required by both Zammad's legacy WebSocket and new Action Cable WebSocket endpoints. The exact location depends on your personal configuration file, but you will get the idea. This also affects any other implementation that uses Nginx, like Nginx proxy managers. As mentioned with the Zammad 6.4.1 release, the API search endpoints in Zammad have been drastically improved. The API endpoints for searches like tickets, users, organizations and so on have been unified and improved. Let me demonstrate with the ticket search endpoint. As I said, it affects all object searches. The default search without any further parameters will no longer return all related objects. This reduces the response payloads a lot. All further information, like resolving the user ID, will require a second API request. If you require a payload with resolved information, you can set expand equals true in your query. This will save further API requests if the resolved information is enough to you. User IDs, for example, will be a human-readable value. If you want everything, including a total count of records and record IDs, use full equals true. Please note that previously, for example in ticket scope, the record IDs attribute was called ticket IDs. Last but not least, you can now retrieve a record count to your search. Use only total count equals true to receive no further payload at all. Another API-related change aims to improve the current performance of Zammad's current web interface. Up to now, Zammad would deliver all assets connected to, for example, a ticket when using full equals true in an API call. Certain information like ticket priorities, ticket states, groups, and roles are rather static and rarely change. For this reason, if you require to still receive this information, you will be forced to execute a second API request. You can either call the corresponding endpoint, for example groups, or use the sign-show request, which contains all global assets before requesting the actual data. As mentioned with the Zammad 6.4.1 release, you can no longer have more than one merge state. Zammad considers this configuration as technically incorrect, as several merge states bring no benefit in their point of view. If you have more than one state of the type merged, all these states except the merge state itself will be changed in the ticket state type closed. You have to do nothing, this will automatically be applied by a database migration. The search index part is only relevant to you if you're still on Zammad 6.4 or 6.4.1. If you're updating from Zammad 6.5, it has no relevance to you. Due to changes in Zammad search index, a reindex is required. This can be done during live operation. Keep in mind that this temporarily means a degraded search index. You can do so by executing zammad run rake zammad search index rebuild. If you're using a Docker or source code installation, execute the command without zammad run. Also, keep in mind that you can improve the speed of the search index rebuild by using 4 in brackets. 4 would use 4 threads. Keep in mind to not use higher numbers than the number of cores your system actually has. That's all for today. Got any suggestions? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, take care.